Hello and welcome to Link Ahead, the City of Dublin podcast. And we want to start off by saying thank you to our loyal listeners for enabling us to say welcome to season 3.
Season 3.
We've made it.
Wow.
3 seasons. We renewed ourselves again for another year, Bruce. We're just honored to bring these episodes to highlight the people, leaders, and services that make Dublin a thriving place to live, work, and grow.
You're absolutely right. And today we have a guest who our residents may not know him by name. But we can say this, parents of school-age kids love him. Same said, school-age kids, maybe not so much. Jay Anderson is our public service director, and among his many responsibilities, he's in charge of our curb-to-curb snow removal,
That's right.
thus keeping kids in school and parents happy. So Jay, welcome to Link Ahead.
Thank you.
It's January in Central Ohio, so cue the snow, freezing rain, sleet, anything that falls from the sky, that gray sky that we've come to love and know. What have you learned over the years that you apply to a season of winter weather across Dublin?
You know what? What you expect, you will not get. What you do not expect, you will get. So as much as we try and as hard as we prepare each season, you just never know what you're going to get going into the season. So we're prepared and ready to go with whatever Mother Nature brings us.
And you never know, right? So all public streets within Dublin are prioritized 1, 2, or 3 based on traffic volumes and speeds. Help us understand those priorities.
So the first thing to know is route priorities are based on traffic volumes and speeds. Priority ones are our main roadways. These roadways will continue to receive treatment as long as the weather conditions continue. Examples of this would be Murfield Drive, Emerald Parkway, France Road. So our priority 2 roadways are our main roadways through neighborhoods that connect to priority 1 roadways. A couple examples of those are Brandyway Drive and Earlington. And then our priority 3s are residential roads and cul-de-sacs.
And so people in neighborhoods, they say, oh, you haven't gotten to my street yet. That's, it's maybe a cul-de-sac. It's not a throughway. So, we'll get there. It's just not going to be the first priority.
Yeah, one thing to remember is a lot of times we'll move from priority 1s and get into our priority 2s, and then it'll start snowing again. So folks will see a plow truck in their neighborhood, and then all of a sudden it disappears. So vast majority of the time, we had to go back out to those priority runs and start to treat those again. But rest assured, we'll work through and we'll hit every section of the city by the time it's over.
Jay, we talk a lot about our 150 miles of shared use paths here in Dublin. Now, you can't possibly clear all of those. In fact, most municipalities don't clear paths at all. So what is our priority in Dublin?
Yeah, so we clear paths that are ingress and egress routes to Dublin City Schools and the one Hilliard City School that's in Ballantrae. So we've worked with school administration over the years to determine what those routes are and the most likely routes. We also open up segments of recreational paths so folks can get out in the winter when there's snow on the ground and go for a jog or take the dog for the walk. So all in total, we're about 34 miles of path that we clear during every snow event.
Wow. Can you talk a little bit about what's not treated by the city and what are actually the residents' responsibilities?
Really, out in front of your residential home or business, the resident is responsible for clearing the sidewalks in front of their property. Right. We have city property that has sidewalks that border it, and we do clear those as part of our efforts.
Now, there's a whole list of things residents can do to assist with the snowplow process. Before we tick through that list, what's the one thing that residents do that hamper that process?
That's a great question. I would say overall, having a vehicle on the street during a snow event is probably the most challenging for us, and it typically will upset the owner of that vehicle. Our drivers will do everything they can to stay clear of that vehicle, but inevitably there's going to be a row of snow that's going to go up against that vehicle. If they know we're going to have a snow event, if they could pull that in their driveway, it would really help us out.
So other than that, what can residents do to help the process when there's a snow event?
Do not shovel or plow snow into city streets is one of them. And then that's really important. And if you happen to get it out in the street, if you just push it to the right, it lessens what will go back in your driveway when that plow comes through, given our curb-to-curb plowing policy. Do not shovel or plow snows in the driveway aprons. Another one is do not shovel or plow snow around fire hydrants or your mailboxes. Obviously, we want folks to keep the distance away from our snow plows, or at least a safe distance. And obviously kids love snow plows. So keep an eye on your children when our plows are going down the streets. They're going a safe speed, but just make sure you have an eye on your children if they're out there playing. And one that I just mentioned is remove parked cars from streets, and do not ever attempt to plow or pass a snow plow when it's out treating.
Good advice.
Now, as we're preparing for this, we also learned there's some serious chemistry to the brine mixture that's put on the roads. And you see that and you're like, what is going on? What are these streaks? And it's kind of a relatively new thing. So I won't get into the actual proportions of water to salt, but can you explain what the brine is and why we use it?
I could try. So, yeah. So we make our own brine at the Dublin Service Center. So we have an unlimited supply of brine, just as long as we have road salt on hand. We have the ability to apply the brine prior to a snow event, and that kind of gives us a head start on it in an event. As long as we're not getting rain forecasted prior to an event, we'll go ahead and apply that. Especially, you'll see it on bridge decks, hills, round corners, and roundabouts and such. We also have wetting systems on our plow trucks that can apply liquid calcium chloride or beet heat, and we spray that on the road salt as it is being dispersed, and this helps improve the effectiveness of the road salt, especially around temperatures that are in the 20s and lower. So keeps it.
Well, whatever you guys do, it works, because they talk about it all the time. You can tell when you cross the border in or out of Dublin when there's a snow event.
Oh, yeah. I can say I live in Columbus, and by the time I hit Dublin, I'm like, it's like hitting the beach. Now, is there a certain temperature, though, that you're like, the salt's not going to work?
Yeah, we get down, when we're getting close to zero or negative temperatures, and there's not much we can do. We'll blade off the snow at that point. Wait, if we can get some sun, we'll still try to apply those chemicals and still try, especially on intersections and areas where we're concerned about safety. But there's just not a lot you can do until those temperatures start to creep up a little bit.
Well, Jay, Dublin is known for being innovative in service delivery, and I recently heard you talking about AI snow prediction. Of course, there's got to be some artificial intelligence at play here, and we're going to be piloting this, right? Tell our listeners about that.
Yes, so we currently have 3 RWIZ cameras across the city of Dublin. RWIZ stands for Roadway Weather Information Stations. These cameras provide us real-time weather data such as air temperatures, road temperatures, dew point, etc. So new for 2024 is AI snow detection with these cameras, in which they can actually detect the snow as it starts to fall. This is super helpful, especially in the evening hours. A lot of times we'll get clipper systems move through, where we're not expected to get any, amount of snowfall that accumulates, and sure enough, we do. And having this AI technology that's able to detect this also allows it to alert our staff that's on duty, which will notify them that we're receiving snow, and we can come in and check and see if we need to dispatch our staff or not.
Is there any sort of AI snowman detector that we know it's going to be good thick snow to build a snowman and a snowball fight?
Don't think they're quite there yet, but I'm sure in time. Yes.
All right.
No, your role is safe. You get to do that, Bruce.
Yes.
Well, we're talking about artificial intelligence. We also have SnowGo, which we've had for about 10 years here, with GPS tracking for the snow plows. Bruce, you can back me up on this. Web traffic when there's a snow event.
Oh, absolutely.
People are going to that site to see where the plows have been. Talk about how beneficial that is for you and your team, Jay.
Yeah, we use it to our advantage, obviously. So we're watching the same thing the residents are. We have a back end version of it that's a little bit more detailed, but we're seeing basically the same thing the residents are, and kind of figuring out what areas we need to hit next, and trying to direct our trucks to the appropriate spots and places as they get through their routes. It's a great tool for us, and it's a great tool for the residents, especially with this live tracking that we have now,
right,
that we introduced a year or so ago. So residents can see it in real time and actually see where our crews are and what they're doing.
We're talking all things winter here, but let's also back up a bit and thinking about the fall. And leaf collection is another one of your responsibilities. This never seems to happen, but did we make it all the way through our leaf collection season before we needed snow plows this year?
We did. unfortunately. So we wrapped up on December 15th. I think 2 times in my career here, I can remember that we've had to plow during leaf season.
Wow.
And it was not pretty. So
Oh,
definitely don't want to go through that if we don't have to.
So we're talking about leaf collection, and that's one of the programs that our residents really love. As Bruce said, another one of your responsibilities. But some experts say, "Hey, just leave the leaves on the grass." What do you think about that?
I personally would recommend mulching your leaves up if you can. It's great for your soil in your yard. It's great for the grass. So if you're able to keep up with it and you have the ability, I recommend mulching. Certainly if you have a wooded area in your yard where you can allow those leaves to decompose, that's a great idea. But otherwise, we provide the service of leaf removal. But I do think mulching is a great option, and it helps us out as well.
Another great option, just leave the leaves there and hope for wind, and then blow it right into the neighbor's yard. Does that work?
Exactly.
As long as it doesn't blow it into the street. I know.
As long as you have a good neighbor that likes you.
Jay, you and your team also are in charge of park maintenance, and we have 64 parks in Dublin, which it just seems crazy to say.
We brag about that, and Jay's like, I know.
Yeah, trust me, I know. Are the winter months a time for maintenance and repair work?
Yeah, absolutely. And fortunately, last few winters have been pretty nice. So we're able to get all the maintenance assignments that may get pushed back throughout the summer months because we have higher priority work that comes to us. So we definitely go out and try to accomplish as much as we can as long as we have good weather. We also do park inspections in the late fall, and we'll use those park inspections to kind of fill our winter work and drive things that need to be fixed in the parks off those.
Well, and we talk about this all the time. Dublin has a commitment to launching best-in-class services, but establishing budgets to maintain those services and amenities is another thing. So talk about just the maintenance and upkeep it takes to keep all those parks clean, safe, looking new.
Yeah, so, obviously there's a lot that goes on in our parks year-round. So obviously, having the support of City Council, our city manager is paramount in us achieving our mission. Our focus is on maintenance of our parks and all the great amenities that we have within our parks. So having that robust operating budget to focus on maintenance is tremendously important. You pair that with an aggressive capital improvement program, and it really goes a long way in keeping our entire park system in great condition.
I have to say, we get a ton of feedback from the public all the time just about how pristine all the parks look and everything like that. So kudos to your team.
Well, thank you.
Jay, I do have to ask you, how long have you been a city employee?
Going on 28 years.
Sorry, how many parks did we have when you started?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. It was in the low teens, I think. Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's funny.
You started here pretty much right after graduating college in the mid-90s and have worked your way up ever since. You're getting so close to 30 years here. What has kept you in Dublin for so long?
Gosh, I think it's the people that you work with day in and day out. It's our residents. It's our business owners. It's the folks that work in Dublin. Just having that desire to serve and make the city better than the day before. There's nothing better than having a resident call and having an issue, and you and your team or your team's able to figure it out and solve it, and they have a better day, and we make the city a better place. So just having those interactions day in and day out has really what's driven me, and we've got a great staff too. So just the folks here at the City of Dublin have been tremendous over the years, and it's a great place to work.
And, Lindsay and I get the privilege of talking to city employees and people that are affected by all of our services. And it's just, it's that same common thread of, we're better together. Everybody's an expert in their fields. And it's just great to go to HOA meetings. And I said this to Paul Hammersmith, we walk into those meetings and they're like, I want to talk to Jay. I want to talk to Paul. Everyone else beat it.
So true.
We often talk about Dublin's vision to be the most sustainable global city of choice, and many of our sustainability efforts fall under your purview. So what are some of the highlights for you, and what do you think is the next big thing for the city on this front?
We continue to focus on recycling and composting opportunities within our parks. To align more with industry standards, we are transitioning to a new combination trash and recycling receptacle in our community parks. And some of the receptacles will even offer a composting option. In addition, we are expanding the deployment of our big belly solar trash compactor receptacles in our community parks. And we're also starting with Avery Park for that deployment.
I have to say, those things are so cool. So to talk about that, they're solar powered and they compact the trash so nothing's leaning over. And then it also sends a notification to crews when they're full. Is that right?
It does, yeah. So we buy time, obviously, with the compaction. We don't have to check the trash cans, and they are wrapped very nicely. And I know the gentleman who designed the wrap.
Yeah.
So.
It's a team effort, it's easy to do when we have such great, a great product like that. It's like, it's visionary. It's very cool.
They look great.
So they're wrapped with like a decal. So they look nice.
Yeah, they look nice.
Dublin has the prettiest trash cans around. Well, Jay, you are guest number 1 for season 3 of Link Ahead, and that also means you get to kick off season 3 of Rapid Fire Questions. Are you ready?
Sure.
You ready or not? Here we go. So be honest, have you gotten good at predicting bad weather, or do you kind of stink at it?
I think that's, I don't know if I've gotten good. I can tell you I spend an awful lot of time watching the weather, listening to the weather, watching forecast, checking my computer, National Weather Service. So when we have an event coming, it's obviously all hands on deck, but we do spend a lot of time looking at the different forecast models, different weather stations, and try to make sense of it all and figure out, what's going to impact us. Most of the times we're wrong, but we're sure.
Quick follow up. What's your number 1 tell sign that the bad stuff is coming our way?
There is no bread or milk on the store shelf.
It has nothing to do with meteorology at all.
Not at all.
That is hilarious. All right. If need be, can you drive a snowplow?
I can. I still have my Class A CDL.
Yes.
There we go. When's the last time you've been out?
It's been a long time, so I wouldn't recommend me do it.
We haven't gotten that desperate recently. Okay, what's worse? And I think I know the answer here. A foot of snow or a half inch of ice?
Oh, my. Both.
Both at
but
once.
I would say that half inch of ice would be a tremendous hit to our infrastructure. So, yeah, I'll pass on that. I'll take the foot of snow.
I think you're right. You guys can plow snow, but you get ice, that's taking down
we're in trouble.
utilities and trees.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Before becoming director of public service, you had several positions in parks operations, including your very first job as a parks maintenance worker. Do you remember which park you worked at first and what you did there?
So, yeah, I don't think I was at a park or stationed at a park. I think I did a variety of things. So I think I did a lot of mowing grass, a lot of picking up trash in right-of-ways. And, yeah, I think it was kind of that route initially, and then kind of moved on. So, yeah, I was one that never really got stationed. We do have folks stationed at parks, but I was never fortunate enough to have that job. So,
All right. So what has been your best job and why?
I think overall working special events, just in general, the camaraderie, the events that we put on are pretty awesome.
Yes.
So it it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun, and I know everybody takes a lot of pride in that. So I think that's it.
Yeah.
Any other park in the world you still want to visit?
I haven't been to Yosemite, so I would love to go there. So we are a Florida family. So we take a lot of trips to the beach. So yeah, one day.
All right. On that beach theme, have you ever gotten out of Ohio during the winter and you're on a beach having a great time, and then there was a lot of snow here on the ground? Has that happened, and what happened?
I am not allowed to leave the city in the winter. I'm kidding. No, I do not take trips just because of what I do for a living. So yeah, we save those for spring break.
Wow. What's the one thing about your job that surprises people?
I would say the variety that I have on a day in and day out basis, from working with solid waste and street maintenance and horticulture and forestry and parks operation. There is just so much variety day in and day out, and you learn so much, and I'm still learning, but just having that variety has been great.
Jay Anderson, we know it's your busy season, so thank you for taking time to help us kick off season 3 and look ahead.
Thank you, guys. It's been fun.
Thanks, Jay. And to our listeners, thank you as well for taking the time to connect with your city as we once again kick off season 3. Tune in next time as we continue to explore the many personalities and experiences that make Dublin a thriving place to live, work, and grow.